Hello, friends. Welcome back to English with Altaf. Today we are going to share something very practical and exciting. We'll talk about a 30-day English challenge and how keeping a daily journal can change the way you speak.
That's right, Annie. A daily journal is like a mirror of your progress. When you write and speak every day for 30 days, you start noticing real improvements. By the end of this conversation, our viewers will understand how to use a journal to build confidence and fluency.
So, let's start with day 1. On the very first day of my challenge, I wrote down my feelings. I wrote, I feel shy when I speak English. I forget words. I am scared of mistakes. Writing this made me realize what my real problems were.
That's a powerful beginning. Day one is not about perfection. It's about honesty. When you put your fears on paper, you face them directly. That becomes your first step toward confidence.
On day 2, I started very small. I wrote 3 simple sentences. For example, I wake up early, I eat breakfast, I go to work. They looked simple, but when I read them aloud, it felt like practice.
Exactly. Many learners think they need to write big paragraphs, but short daily entries are better in the beginning. It's about building the habit, not about writing essays.
By day 3, I added a few questions. For example, how are you? What are you doing? Where are you going? I wrote the questions and answered them myself. This gave me the feeling of having a conversation.
That's a clever strategy. When you use your journal to practice dialogues, you prepare yourself for real conversations outside.
On day 5, something changed. I noticed I was less afraid to read aloud. Earlier, I was shy, but now I could read my journal entries with more confidence. I wrote about this feeling in my notebook too.
That's the magic of daily effort. Every day adds a little more confidence. After 5 days, you already saw a difference.
By day 7, at the end of the first week, I looked back at all my entries. I realized that even though my sentences were short, they showed progress. I was no longer silent. I was using English every single day.
And that's a huge win. Many people study grammar rules for weeks, but never speak. A journal forces you to use English daily.
Now let's move to week 2. From day 8 to day 12, I started writing about my daily life. For example, I cooked rice today. I watched a movie. I talked to my friend. Writing these things made me feel that English was part of my normal life.
That's important. When learners connect English with their real life, they stop seeing it as a school subject. It becomes a tool of communication.
Yes. On day 13, I decided to write a small story. It was about a funny moment in the market. I didn't worry about grammar, I just described what happened. Then I read it aloud like I was telling a story to a friend.
Storytelling is very effective. It helps you focus on the message, not the mistakes. And it trains your brain to speak in flow.
By day 15, halfway through, I noticed another breakthrough. I recorded myself reading my journal. When I listened, I didn't like my voice at first, but I could clearly hear where I paused too much or where my words were unclear.
Yes, listening to your own voice feels strange, but it is one of the fastest ways to improve pronunciation and fluency.
From day 16 to day 20, I added shadowing practice to my journal. I wrote short sentences, then listened to English videos, and repeated the sentences after them. I wrote in my journal how many minutes I practiced and which words I learned.
That's a great combination. The journal gives structure, and shadowing gives you rhythm and natural sound.
By day 21, I was surprised. I could think in English for small things. For example, I said to myself, I am hungry. I want water. I didn't translate from my language. I just thought in English.
That's a very big milestone. When you start thinking in English, fluency becomes natural. And because you documented it, you noticed the moment it happened.
From day 22 to day 25, I made my entries longer. Instead of one line, I wrote 3 or 4 lines. For example, I met my friend today. We talked about our work. I felt happy because I spoke some English with him. These longer entries pushed me to speak more.
And those small expansions show clear progress. In just 3 weeks, you went from short sentences to small paragraphs.
On day 26, I had a proud moment. I gave myself a challenge to speak for 2 minutes about my daily routine. I wrote about it in my journal and recorded it. Listening back, I saw that I could continue without stopping too much.
That's fantastic. Many learners struggle to speak for even 1 minute, but after consistent journaling, you manage 2 minutes smoothly.
By day 28, I had the courage to join an online group and say a few sentences in English. I wrote about my nervousness, but also my happiness when people understood me.
That's another example of a breakthrough. The journal doesn't just track words, it tracks your emotions, fears, and victories.
Finally, on day 30, I looked back at the whole month. I saw my progress. From shy to confident, from single words to paragraphs, from silence to real conversations. My journal showed me how far I had come.
And that's the real gift of a 30-day English journal. You may not become perfect, but you become stronger, clearer, and more confident.
So let's quickly summarize what we learned in today's video.
We learned that a daily journal is a powerful tool to practice English consistently.
We learned that small steps writing feelings, short sentences, and dialogues build a strong foundation.
We learned that storytelling, shadowing, and recording your voice add big improvements to fluency.
And most importantly, we discovered that after 30 days, anyone can see real progress and daily breakthroughs by keeping a simple journal.
So, friends, if you want to improve your English, start your own 30-day journal challenge today. Write daily, speak daily, and watch your confidence grow.
That's all for today's episode. Thank you so much for joining us.
This is English with Altaf. Keep practicing, keep writing, and keep speaking.